The spotlight effect, script style. Similar to your example. Tonight, before you go to sleep, think about the last embarrassing thing that happened to you. Maybe you stumbled while walking. Maybe you said something awkward in front of a group. Maybe you wore the wrong clothes to an event, and chances are, you're still thinking about it. But here's the strange part. Almost nobody else remembers it. In fact, most people probably didn't even notice. This is called the spotlight effect, a psychological illusion that makes you believe everyone is paying attention to you, when in reality they're too busy thinking about themselves. And once you understand this, it changes the way you see every social interaction forever. Let's start with a simple question. Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly felt like everyone was looking at you? Your shirt feels weird. Your hair doesn't look right. You become aware of every movement you make. You feel as if a giant spotlight has been switched on above your head. Every mistake feels visible. Every flaw feels obvious. Every awkward moment feels impossible to hide. But here's the truth. That spotlight exists only inside your mind. In the year 2000, psychologists Thomas Gailovich, Victoria Medvec, and Kenneth Savitsky conducted a famous experiment. They asked college students to wear an embarrassing t-shirt. The shirt had a large picture of singer Barry Manilow on it. The students hated it. They were then told to walk into a room filled with other students. After leaving the room, researchers asked them, "What percentage of people do you think noticed your shirt?" Most participants believed that around 50% of the room had noticed, but the actual number was closer to 20%, less than half of what they expected. People simply weren't paying attention, not because they were rude, but because they were focused on themselves. And this reveals something important about human psychology. You are the center of your own universe. Every thought, every feeling, every mistake, every insecurity, you experience them all directly, so naturally your brain assumes everyone else notices them too, but everyone else is living inside their own universe. They are worried about their appearance, their problems, their future, their mistakes, just like you. Think about the last time you walked through a crowded street. Can you remember the face of every stranger you passed? Probably not. Can you remember what clothes they wore? Most likely not. Can you remember whether one of them looked nervous? Almost certainly not. Yet, if you were one of those strangers, you might have spent the entire walk worrying about how people were judging you. This is the spotlight effect in action, and it affects nearly every part of life. Students hesitate to ask questions because they're afraid of looking stupid. Employees stay silent in meetings because they're afraid of saying something wrong. People avoid approaching someone they like because they're afraid of rejection, not because others are judging them, but because they imagine others are judging them. The fear itself becomes the prison. What's fascinating is that this bias may have ancient origins. For most of human history, humans lived in small tribes. Being accepted by the group was a matter of survival. If the tribe rejected you, you could die. Your brain evolved to care deeply about social approval. Thousands of generations passed, the world changed, but the brain stayed the same. Today, a small social mistake isn't dangerous, yet your brain reacts as if your survival depends on it. A forgotten word during a presentation, an awkward text message, a bad photo posted online. Your mind treats these events like emergencies, but they aren't, and social media makes this even worse. For the first time in history, humans can measure attention, likes, views, comments, followers. Every number tricks the brain into believing that people are constantly watching, constantly evaluating, constantly judging. But even online, most people scroll past content within seconds. They're not studying your life, they're thinking about their own. Research shows that people consistently overestimate how much others notice their appearance, mistakes, and achievements. We imagine an audience that barely exists, and understanding this can be incredibly freeing, because if people aren't paying as much attention as you think, then you're free to try, free to fail, free to be awkward, free to learn, free to become someone new. The next time you embarrass yourself in public, remember this. The moment that keeps replaying in your mind is probably already forgotten in everyone else's. The spotlight isn't shining on you. It never was. Everyone is standing under their own spotlight, worried about their own mistakes, thinking about their own lives. And that's why on